try to slow down that elite offense.
Zoe, an aspiring broadcaster one day, always love to get her on the show. We're underway in this 3 out of 5 set match. That was Ogilvy who served to start us. Carolina beat Cal on Friday. Stanford beat Duke. This is the final week of the regular season. Long rally to open the match, and there's a joust at the net. Ogilvy will send it back over. Attack out of the middle by Engelbrecht. And hammered on the right side by number 5 in white, Jordan Harvey.
Jordan Harvey has so much range, and this is one of the reasons why this offense is so balanced, because on the right side, she's very, very terminal, and they set her a lot.
Maddie, how do you stop a team with the pins that Stanford has? Just volleyball 101. What's the strategy there? On
the block, you have to stay disciplined, and you don't move until you see the set, and then you release, and you have to work to close off those seams.
A massive block by a massive player, Sammy Francis. The 6'6" senior from San Diego, one of the toughest competitors for Kevin Hamley's Stanford team. She's the player that holds everybody accountable out there. And it's a good start for Stanford, up 2-0 to start the match. Barrett with the set, trying to get Thorpe in on the action. And then tooling the block is number 13, Elia Rubin. So Stanford right away is establishing those outsides.
Exactly, and those outsides are so efficient and terminal. Elia Rubin, 3rd in the ACC in kills and total points.
Good run here for Elena Ogilvy to start this match serving. Serves it to the other libero, Maddie May. And the Tar Heels struggling here in this opening few points. Schaffmaster unable to get that ball to fall inside the line. So the Tar Heels are going to take an early timeout. Mike Shaw wanting to get into the ears of the Tar Heels. They're down 4-0. Got the nod to become the head coach. He did win that national championship as an assistant at Penn State under the legendary Russ Rose. And we'll see if the Tar Heels can side out here, Madison. Barrett with the set to Thorpe, and they do. A good timeout by Mike Shaw.
That's exactly what you want out of a timeout. Nice 3-pass, keep your team in system. Set Thorpe, who's had a fantastic run in ACC play, and let her use all of that range to get a kill.
One of the best servers in the country, Schaffmaster. Check that out. And the ace for Schaffmaster. Schaffmaster, I mean, that is just a thing of beauty to watch. That is her 51st ace of the season, and that is a very high number for volleyball. Good serve receive. They want to get her off the service line as quick as they can, and they do behind the swing of Rubin.
Cami Minor is so fast. She's so good at getting her feet to the ball. As a setter, you've got to be quick. She gets there, sets up Rubin nicely, and Rubin takes care of the ball.
Harvey serving for Stanford. Serves it at Foster. And then a kill out of the middle by Engelbrecht. And very important for the Tar Heels to get those middles involved.
It's going to be extremely important because they rely on their pins so much. You want to run through your middles as much as you can in the beginning to open up maybe some one-on-one situations for your pins later.
Jackie Taylor has rotated into the front row for the Tar Heels along with Foster and Thorpe. Thorpe. Barrett puts up the set to the left pin, and that is save brought back in play by Harvey. This has got to go over. And it does with authority. Nice dig, though, by Hampton. Excuse me, Eisert. Right side, and Sammy Francis off the slide terminates.
Coach Hambley told us Sammy Francis is kind of a dog, and I would say she is all dog. That slide is so good by her. All of her vision is open. She can pinpoint where she wants to go, and she's very efficient behind the setter.
Kevin Hamley, 2-time national champion coach at Stanford. They went back-to-back at 18 and 19. And there's another Stanford ace. You know, Madison, I was thinking today, if there was an All-American team for nicest coaches, Mike Shaw and Kevin Hamley would be first teamers.
Without a doubt. It's a pleasure to talk to them. I love speaking to them. And yeah, no, they're so kind.
Barrett runs that down, sets Thorpe. Minor with the set to Kurt. Kurt, number 15 in white. She'll get it again and swings and finds the hole in the Tar Heel defense.
One of the most impressive things about Ipar Kurt, only a freshman, redshirt freshman, but is her efficiency as a pin, she's been hitting well over 400, 500, 600, even 800 a couple weeks ago.
She redshirted last year, coming over from Turkey, really had to get used to the D1 style of play. Now she's an older freshman because she played professionally in Turkey, but it is a different style of volleyball here in the United States. And she has definitely meshed well and benefited from that year off. Isert to serve, one of the two setters North Carolina uses, and doesn't clear the net. Isert and Barrett. North Carolina runs the 6-2 about as well as anyone in the country this year. That means they're utilizing two setters, so they always have their attackers up front.
And they have a lot of pin attackers. They have a lot of depth in those positions, so it makes sense for them to run the 6-2 system. Taylor
Bevan in to serve, had an ace at Duke on Friday. So good at May. And then another successful middle attack. This time it's Jackie Taylor.
We've seen an emphasis from UNC to run through those middles early, really smart, one-on-one situation. Jackie Taylor identifies the arms of Lizzie Andrews, pinky down and swings away.
Father Sean was an NFL star, two-time Pro Bowl selection. Miner keeps it alive for Stanford, and Kurt just crushes it.
Kurt is able to clean up any out of system, maybe off-speed play. She's so incredibly athletic and powerful, and you see her there in between both of the blockers, driving it sharp through that seam.
Well, Madison, it's 10-5 in this first set. Stanford still without a hitting error. They're hitting 5:45 to start this match. Miner targeting that serve. Schaffmaster looking for the corner and does not get it. No touch either. And Schaffmaster is a player that Stanford has to be acutely aware of at all times. Miner targeting Bollinger. And still Schaffmaster not quite has found her rhythm yet.
But she is one of those players where when she does heat up, she's able to go on a tear and accumulate a lot of points for this team. She's just a little slow to start.
Averages 3.43 kills per set. She had 19 against Cal in 3 sets. And Miner errors on the serve. So North Carolina will go to work and try to climb back out of this 6-point deficit. Mike Shaw's going to bring in a serving substitute. Number 24 in Carolina blue, Marissa Meyerhofer, who is one of the seniors being honored this weekend. It's senior weekend. They had a nice brunch yesterday for the seniors. A lot of family here in town. That's tight. Somebody was in the net. And it was Stanford in the net, point Carolina.
And this is going to be a big key to this game, serving aggressively. UNC needs to bring the pressure from the service line in order to get Stanford one of the most efficient offenses out of system.
Miner. Oh, how about that set? That is just a beautiful set to Lizzie Andrew.
Miner is so incredibly elite, and this is one of the reasons why. She can be 8-10 feet off the net and still find the hands of her middle attacker. That's really impressive. She's got a lot of precision.
Went over 4,000 career assists this season. Good serve. Carolina did well to receive it. Schaffmaster still looking for that first kill. Miner calls everybody off. Schaffmaster, saved by Miner. Harvey has to tip it over. Isert with the set on the left side, and there's the Stanford block, which has gotten so much better as the season has progressed.
That is the area of their game that Coach Kevin Hambly told us has grown the most. Lizzie Andrew, only a freshman, so it took her a second to get into the pace, into the quick pace of college, but now she's in her groove and shutting off all those seams.
I am looking so forward to watching Lizzie Andrew over the next 4 years. Ace delivered by Kirk. Andrew is, like you said, a freshman, but a true freshman. Did not even play high-level club volleyball, but is a star in her. So Stanford's look pretty good.
They look really good. They look comfortable, confident. And to your point on that, Coach Hambly told us it's win the title or bust. And you can tell they've come out today to win the title or bust.
Best of 5 set match though. Tar Heels still have plenty of time to come back. Right side swing by Foster, and that is saved by Ogilvy. Foster into the block, and that is just not going to work in your favor more often than not.
And that's why you have to run a balanced offense. They dug Foster up. I'd like to see maybe a different setting decision. Lizzie Andrew all over that, closing the block well. Elia Rubin did a nice job at setting that block in the right position.
Kurt back to serve. Target Schaffmaster. Foster over the block, and that's how you do it.
Really smart decision by Foster. She's a grad student. You can tell she's very experienced because she ripped it hard into the seam. She got blocked, so then the next play, she had really good court vision and awareness. Decides to go with the off speed to the campfire. There were a couple Stanford players around that ball, but the communication wasn't there.
Foster was a phenom in high school, the only player in the state of North Carolina to get over 2,000 kills as a high school player. Andrew with the finish in the middle and will rotate out. Lizzie Andrew has made quite an impact today. Came in and has had 2 kills on 2 swings, 2 blocks, and a dig. Barrett, tough ball. Barrett did a good job to even set, but the Stanford block has been the big difference in this first set. Sammy Francis getting that one.
Sammy Francis is absolutely invasive with those quick hands over the net, shutting that ball down.
Ogilvy started the match serving. That's when Stanford built their lead. Thorpe looking for the back line and missed. And the good news for North Carolina is this is only the first set. And that's the 8th error North Carolina has had in this first set. A lot of time to improve. Barrett setting Schaffmaster, and Schaffmaster with the kill. That is what North Carolina needs.
Schaffmaster is so powerful. She has such a heavy arm swing going for that deep corner shot. She's really good at that. She swings nice and high with all that power.
She had an ace last time she served. Serves it again, good receive by Pringle. And over the block was Rubin in a place that Michael Jordan once roamed this floor. This was Jordan-esque. Look at this hang time. Oh, yeah.
All that hang time. You know, Rubin's been a starting outside for them for 3 years, so she's very smart with her shot selection. Really good there to go off speed. See that hole.
We are in Carmichael Arena, one of the more iconic venues in college sports, right down the road from Cameron Indoor Stadium at Duke. We're coming up on the 60th anniversary of Carmichael. Right now it is the home to volleyball, women's basketball, gymnastics, wrestling. I think fencing's in here as well. Back row attack, long, no touch. Harvey was ripping.
I mean, that was an absolute bullet. If you're Harvey, you're okay with missing that shot. You've got a nice, comfortable lead. She's got a lot of power from the back row. I like to see Stanford running through all of their options.
Maddie May with the serve. Francis off the slide, goes cross court. Point Cardinal.
Zoe Barrett wishes she had that ball back. That's a ball that you have to control. She was trying to get it to her libero for an out-of-system set, but just a little too much juice on that pass.
Well, this is about as good a start as you could expect from Stanford, who has made the cross-country trip. They played Duke on Friday night. This second match in a cross-country trip has been tough for the teams playing that second match. A nice block, Taylor and Thorpe combining.
Taylor and Thorpe all over that. And then a little stare down from Chelsea Thorpe, and that's who she is for this team. She is the fire, she's the intensity, she's the emotional driver of this team. And I love it. You got to bring that energy against Stanford.
Isert into serve, should be setting as well. Minor with a set to Kurt, targeted May. Over the block was Hampton. And Francis with a little off speed works for the Cardinal.
Francis is extremely experienced. When we asked Coach Hambly what her goals were. He said as far as she can go. She's got Olympic goals, she's got professional goals, and she plays at such a high level every single match.
And that is a pretty common theme at Stanford, producing Olympians. Foster tried to put it down, didn't work. Other side of the pin, Hampton can't get it to go down either. Tight set, free ball here for North Carolina. And the Stanford block just proves a fortress.
And if the Stanford block isn't shoving it straight down, they're getting good block touches. They're doing a good job at slowing down the attack. It's really difficult to beat a block that is that set and disciplined.
Since 1988, Stanford has had at least one former player on an indoor Olympic team. Minor, back row attack. Doesn't go down for Rubin. Tar Heels did a good job defending that. Overpass, Carolina trying to put it away. And they finally can celebrate the point. So North Carolina starting to play better, which is good news for the second set.
It definitely is, and they need to start controlling that first pass a little bit cleaner, work to get it to your setter. They've been out of system a lot, but that was one of Stanford's game plans. Use your offense and your serve to get UNC in an uncomfortable situation.
Hampton's serve goes long. Hampton, just a sophomore. First team high school All-American. North Carolina losing several seniors, but they are so positioned well for the future. Biggest lead of the match so far for Stanford, and it's also a set point. And Stanford absolutely dominating that opening set. They took the big lead at the start and never looked back. Stanford wins the opener. Serving for the Tar Heels, Zoe, a sophomore, has already gone over 1,000 career assists. Did that on Friday night. And the first attack of the set goes wide by Jordan Harvey, and the Tar Heels have the lead for the first time. Good serve from Barrett. And that is going to go out of play. Elia Rubin with the kill.
Cami Minor is so incredibly elite. She finds her feet to that ball and then has to push it pin to pin. She's really far away from Rubin, but she finds her hand and her shoulder really well there.
Rubin with 11 assists in the opening set. Believe it or not, that's her average this season, one of the tops in the nation. Nice play, Thorpe, and then diving in is Maddie May. Joust at the net, and Stanford wins the rally.
All-out effort from UNC. Maddie May all over the floor. Look at that. She's down, she's ready, she's on her heels, and then she's up really quick, getting that ball over. It's going to take that kind of energy to stick with this Stanford team.
Ogilvy targeting Hampton. Schaffmaster with the swing blocked. Schaffmaster again goes line. Ogilvy kept it up, and Stanford survives. Schaffmaster tried to cut that. Good diving save by Barrett, and that is eventually going to go under the net. Stanford wins the point. Good effort from the Heels, but Stanford's just relentless.
We see these long rallies because both of these defenses are so elite. Both teams making great plays, nice block touches, slowing down those attacks as well.
North Carolina looking for their first top 10 win since 2016. Thorpe. What a block. Sammy Francis getting the block. You mentioned the stare down a little earlier. There's a lot of that going on out here. This is intense.
I love it when you're playing a top ACC team. It will get a little intense, but Sammy Francis is so disciplined on the block, really quick side to side.
Barrett pushes it to the pin. Thorpe looking for the touch, doesn't get it. Point Stanford.
Thorpe didn't really get on top of that ball enough. It was a quick set, a tempo set to her. She had to rush into it, but sometimes when you're underneath it, you're not able to get on top and snap, and it will cause it to go out.
Barrett will set Thorpe again. And there's the Stanford block. They're just all over the North Carolina attack.
And they have a lot of time to set up because setter Barrett is having to fall off the net. Their passes are not tight enough, and they're out of system. Barrett's having to struggle, and the opposing block has so much time to get there and get set.
Well, North Carolina won the first point of this set. Stanford Wednesday night, 7 Eastern on ACC Network. Tar Heels sided out in the last set when they took a timeout. They need another side out here. Thorpe blocked. May kept it alive. Hampton sends it to the net. And it was a net violation on North Carolina. Sliding under the net, I think it was Maddie Mays. Point goes to Stanford.
This run by Stanford is because UNC cannot push their pass up to the net. It's really difficult to get a good set and a swing when your passes are all falling off the net like that. They're targeting Sophie Hampton on that serve.
Barrett with the set to Schaffmaster, and Schaffmaster just cannot get it to go down. Good D again by the Cardinal. She'll try again, blocked this time.
It's almost like, how do you get the ball down against Stanford? Cami Minor putting herself in the right position to dig. She's so elite at defense. It doesn't even matter if the opposing team targets her because she's gonna dig it up nicely. Sammy Francis on a roll, locked in, reading the set really well and closing all of the blocks.
It is an 8-0 run by Stanford right now. They're out blocking the Tar Heels 8-2. Barrett setting Thorpe. And this time Thorpe tools the block for the Tar Heel point.
And that's what happens with North Carolina. When you get a good pass and you're in system, you're able to run your offense in a nice balanced way. That is the first player for North Carolina to have more than one kill. Chelsea Thorpe now has 2, and she's leading the team.
Schaffmaster with the service here. It's just everything has seemed to be a challenge for North Carolina today so far. Harvey and the Stanford team, they are determined to do what they can to get a top 4 seed. Kevin Hamley was telling us he felt like if they had a couple of more weeks in the regular season, they probably could do it, especially playing in this conference in the top-heavy ACC, but they're kind of running out of time. But winning out is absolutely necessary to have a chance at hosting all the way through the regionals.
He said we're old in some areas, AKA Cami Minor, the setter, middle blocker, Sammy Francis, but then he said we're also young in some areas. And if they just had a couple more weeks, he thinks they'd be to their potential, but they look pretty solid right now, I must say.
Minor with the set. Good save by Barrett. Point Stanford.
Just on UNC side, it's looking a little sloppy. It's looking like the pass isn't right to the setter, or they're making weird decisions.
Well, Mike Shaw and the Tar Heels, they've produced their first 20-win season since 2021. Again, we know North Carolina is going to be one of the names called next Sunday night on ESPN, the selection show. Thorpe tooling the Stanford block. And it's another Tar Heel point. That's 3 kills now for Chelsea Thorpe. Believe it or not, that leads North Carolina.
Watch Chelsea Thorpe on the left side of your screen drive it down the line. She uses all of that power to swipe it off the outside arms of the blocker.
Isert in to serve. Transfer from Middle Tennessee. Kurt blocked, and the Tar Heel block waking up. That was number 21, Jackie Taylor, combining with number 8, Amani Foster.
Really good by Jackie Taylor to hold neutral on the block, wait for the set, and then release. Nice stuff by them. Every single point you can get to bust into that lead will help.
Aaron Curtis also in for the Tar Heels, number 4 on the front line. This is Curtis attacking. Got 2 swings, couldn't get either to go down. Francis off the slide. Push to the corner. Rubin hit that, it was gonna go out. Isert to Schaffmaster, blocked 1-on-1, hit it right at Francis, and they both exchanged a smile.
Sammy Francis in the middle of your screen, and that's why she's so good. The read, she saw the cross-body swing, so she dove those arms into the angle and shoved it down.
And you have to think that those two know each other. Of course, Schaffmaster's sister is a star from Minnesota, very big volleyball family. They're looking for a touch, not going to get it. There's a hitting error on Foster. Foster getting her master's degree in North Carolina this year. Transferred from Charlotte. This is Taylor Bevan, human biology major. Eisert sends it back to the middle of the court. Minor jousting with May. And the Tar Heels win the joust.
I've watched a lot of film on Stanford, and I don't think I've ever seen Cami Minor lose a joust. Really impressive by the freshman, Jackie Taylor. Sometimes it's the last person to touch the ball who wins the joust, and I think that was Jackie Taylor.
Off the slide. Tough to stop that by Lizzie Andrew.
Coach Hambly told us they want to get Lizzie Andrew involved in the offense more, and that means they need her to be available, up, calling for that set. And there she was really well. That's her third kill.
Good serve by Minor, and it goes down as an ace. 19th of the season for Cami Minor. She's had aces in back-to-back matches now.
There's so much pace behind this ball. Watch it dip and dive to the left. It's difficult to get your platform underneath it because it's moving so much from the time it touches Cami Minor's hand to the time it's to you. The country at third, and then it's also one of the top in the ACC. Overall points scored, they're second in the ACC. Assists per set with Cami Minor right there, first in the ACC. And kills per set, they're first in the ACC. So they have been on an absolute roll in ACC play, and it's led by that number 2 right there.
Two-time first-team All-American Cami Minor getting ready to serve. Serves it right at Hampton. Foster, big swing, hit the scoreboard, came down on Stanford's side. It's a playable ball, but it hit the floor before Minor could get under it.
That's a difficult situation to be in. You see Cami Minor smiling. There's not much you can really do about that. It's a new gym. They're not used to the roof. Nice swing by Imani Foster. She's got a really hard, heavy arm swing.
And the scoreboard here in Carmichael, it's up high. So that was quite a feat by Ruben to have that ricochet off the scoreboard. If it comes down on your side, you play it. If it's on the other side, the point's over. Middle attack is good by Andrew, and it just seemed to open up perfectly for her.
It really did. In the past 4 games, Andrew has had 3 kills, 4 kills, 3 kills, and 4 kills. And right now she's got 4 kills already, and we're in the second set. And she's hitting a perfect 100. So really standout performance by the freshman so far.
Yeah, 4 kills on 4 swings. A little too much on that. 5th service error on Stanford. Stanford is a very aggressive serving team. They live with the errors. They're a very high-risk serving team. Kurt talking to Kevin Hamley as she comes off the floor. Barrett with the serve. And that is just too easy for Elia Rubin.
And they targeted Elia Rubin on serve receive, and you'll do that as a server to try and take that outside out of the offense. But she said, no, let me get a 3 pass. Nice set, and then drive it down the line. Great swing and pass.
Rubin with 8 kills on 15 swings, no errors. Middle attack not successful by Engelbrecht. They'll try Thorpe. Thorpe goes over the block. Harvey, saved by Barrett. May trying to set Schaffmaster, but it got too close to the net. And Sammy Francis says, thank you very much.
Out of system, UNC has to work to set their attackers a little bit more off the net because of how invasive Sammy Francis is over the net. She'll grab that every time.
Ogilvy back to serve. She has had a fantastic day serving for the Cardinal. Barrett back to Schaffmaster, and Schaffmaster finds the corner for the Tar Heel kill.
That swing is Schaffmaster's bread and butter. Deep, deep into that corner, in between two defenders. Nice heavy arm swing by her, but you see uncharacteristically hitting in the negative today.
But she's like a shooting guard in basketball. They're just going to keep shooting. She's going to keep swinging.
And they're going to keep setting her, and she's going to get the good, the bad, the ugly. She's there to clean up everything. And it's a difficult position to be in, but throughout the season, she's done a really good job of it.
16 swings. She and Thorpe tied with the most for the Tar Heels. Harvey with the serve. Barrett pushing it out, and Hampton is denied on her attack. Minor and Francis on the right pin.
Sammy Francis, that's her 8th block. Watch how quick she moves side to side, and then it's all about the press, finishing those palms back to area 6.
Ruben has 4, Andrew has 3 as well. And the Tar Heels with the much needed side out. And Engelbrecht will rotate out after that.
I like the idea to run through the middles right there. Engelbrecht and Taylor, both of the middles are their most efficient attackers. So when you get the chance, run through your most efficient.
Tip, and it's going to work. Stanford just so smart out on the court today. They have been so composed and managed this match well. Again, they had a little bit of a let up against Duke in the second set, not today in Chapel Hill. Hampton unable to get it to go down. And then tooling the block is number 15, Ipar Kurt.
It's a good swing by Hampton, who hasn't really been able to heat up yet, but it's because the block is getting so many touches, slowing down these attacks. And then when you get that beautiful bump set by Cami Minor right to Kurt, she takes care of it.
So many times, Madison, I felt like the Tar Heels were going to have a successful attack, and Stanford keeps the ball alive. They are just so hard to put it away on today, and Francis continues to dominate the middle.
Francis's eye sequence is so good. Passer ball, setter ball, hitter, driving those arms into the seam and shutting it down. 9
blocks for Sammy Francis. And make it 10.
I'm almost speechless. She is on an absolute roll. Sometimes as an attacker, blocker, anything, you get into a flow zone, and that's when you're reading everything really well, and you don't even have to think about it. You're just moving and reacting, and Sammy Francis is all in that flow zone.
That is a career high for Francis as well. Her 10 blocks today. We still have at least another set to play. Kurt pops it over the net. Thorpe trying to make a play on it for Carolina. Barrett setting Thorpe. Dug up by Ruben. Kurt over the block, gets saved by Barrett. And the cross-court attack good by Sammy Francis.
It's not.
Served it at Hampton. And Foster with the kill to begin the third.
Imani Foster, throughout her career, was a left side hitter. They moved her to the right a little bit this season, but you can tell on the outside, she's really comfortable.
It's Hampton serving. Minor puts that set too close to the net, and it ends up being an overpass for North Carolina.
A rare tight set from Cami Minor. That's exactly what you're there as the blocker to do. Shove that straight down. Jackie Taylor all over that.
First time North Carolina has had not only a 2-0 lead, but a 2-point margin, and it's quickly reduced to 1.
Jordan Harvey now serving.
So another service here, the 4th on the heels. Harvey getting ready to serve. Cousins Aaron Gordon, who won an NBA championship last year with the Nuggets. Push to the corner, and it's good. Schaffmaster.
Schaffmaster is known for her power, but right there using all of her vision to get the point. Look at her extend her arm for that, having to go high and over Sammy Francis. She does that really well and then places it perfectly in the corner.
Gotta love the creativity with that, whatever works. And a kill on the left side by Ruben.
Rubin has such a fast arm swing. That was a good block touch by Foster, but she was a little late because Rubin runs such a tempo set and then swings through the ball so quickly.
Rubin, a second-team All-American last year. This year averaging 4 kills per set. Isert runs it down, will put up the set to Schaffmaster. Dug by Rubin. Kurt terminates from the left side.
Kurt just finds ways to score. That block up and set, but she can find the seam with that fast arm swing and then weaves it in between 2 defenders.
She's been hitting almost 400 in ACC play. Kurt has really improved as the season has progressed. May has to run that down. Schaffmaster swings, Ogilvy saved it. Miner will set Kurt, goes over the block. Nice save by Isert again. Schaffmaster into the block, but it goes out, point Stanford.
And to your point on Ipar Kurt, a couple weeks ago she hit 833, and so she's been really efficient, but what's impressive about this is usually as a pin attacker you're gonna get a lot of sets, so you're not as efficient, but she gets a lot of sets, a lot of kills, and does it so efficiently, so she's been really impressive.
Miner, Francis off that slide was calling for it. Good save by Hampton. Foster attacks, and the Tar Heels get the point.
Love this fight back from the Tar Heels, taking big, aggressive rips high off of the hands. And that's a small adjustment that it looks like they made from the first 2 sets to now. Instead of swinging sharp through the seams, swing high and off the hands of the block.
See if they can keep it going. 4-all. Miner attacking out of the middle. She is a very aggressive setter. That is her 52nd kill of the season, which is a lot for a setter.
Hitting almost 400 on the season because she has such good situational awareness. She can field that block not ready for her, and she mixes it up at the right time so the defense is not prepared.
She's so good, Madison. Even if you scout that, it's tough to stop it in real time. Schaffmaster. Kurt targeting Hampton. Miner checking out the D, set Kurt. And Barrett just can't quite save it for the Heels. And Stanford scores another point. They're up 6-4.
Sophie Hampton had that nice deep dig in middle back, and that was one of the emphases that they wanted to put on digging Ipar Kurt. Stay deep in middle back and try to dig up those balls. She did that really well, but they need more of that.
Aggressive serve by Bevan goes out. 6 service errors now for Stanford. They also have 4 aces. Schaffmaster will unleash this cannon. Error by Schaffmaster. Her second service error.
Now serving.
Contagious. Miner with the error after the Schaffmaster error.
It is, because serving is all mental. You go back to the service line, maybe you're thinking about the opposing team's missed serve, and it's all in your brain. But here we go. Let's see if UNC can go on a little run.
Maddie May, she had 2 aces against Cal on Friday. Got that one in. Harvey battles it off the net. Rubin blocked and stuffed by Jackie Taylor.
Jackie Taylor is nearing 100 blocks on the season. She did a really good job there, holding neutral, holding in the middle, waiting to see that set, rising up to it, identifying that set's a bic, rising up and shoving it down.
Miner, high flying Harvey. Good D by the Heels. Harvey again. Hit hands, Tar Heels keep it alive. One arm stab by Rubin. Tight, Harvey tried to cut it too sharp. Point North Carolina.
This is the fight, this is the energy from North Carolina that we missed in those first 2 sets. The defense has been so good for them in this set, putting themselves in the right positions, making these nice gritty digs, and then finishing the play.
And good Good crowd here in Carmichael today. They're finally able to get into this match. Big day for North Carolina Athletics. Women's soccer team will be playing in the NCAA tournament just adjacent to Carmichael later this afternoon at 5 Eastern against Minnesota. Hampton with the serve receive. Thorpe will attack. Cut it sharp and got the kill.
Sophie Hampton gets double the amount of serves that her other teammates get. So she carries a large load, a lot of pressure on that serve receive. But great set, a little out of system, but she got her feet to the ball. Set Thorpe, who's the hot hands, the fire for this team. And Thorpe uses all of that range, pinky down, nice sharp swing.
Thorpe with 4 kills today. Leads the Tar Heels. Isert with the serve. Stanford answers with authority. Elia Rubin.
Elia Rubin is really difficult to block because that tempo set is so quick. Jackie Taylor late to close, late to be up and press. Elia Rubin took advantage.
Rubin with the double-double today, 11 kills, 10 digs. Serve goes out, point Tar Heels. Hampton, sophomore from Jesus, Maryland. So a 6 rotation player in high school. Serve that out.
It's difficult for either team to get going on a run because of all of these service errors. You want to gain momentum throughout a set, and neither team able to gain momentum because of those errors.
15 service errors between the two teams. Isert pushes it to the pin. Schaffmaster with the one-armed attack. Here's Francis. Kept up by May. Schaffmaster again. Minor tried to attack. Waiting on it, though, was Isert. Foster. Dug up in the back row by Pringle. And again, I love watching Rubin jump. She just hangs in the air, Madison.
And she's got such good vision. She sees the open court, a lot of versatility, a lot of tools in her offensive toolbox, and she knows when to use them.
Harvey serve hits the net, comes back on the Stanford side. Point North Carolina. We're tied at 11. It's a must-win set for the Tar Heels. Stanford swept Duke on Friday, and they were expecting a tough test from this North Carolina team today. It hasn't happened so far until this set. And an ace by Marissa Meyerhofer.
Love that serve, pushing Elia Rubin to her line. Nice flat float serve, not a lot of time for Rubin to react. Just painting that sideline.
Second ace for the Tar Heels. It breaks the tie. We've been tied 6 times this set. Francis got a touch, so point Stanford.
Francis is first in the ACC in hitting efficiency, just as confident in front of the setter as she is behind. And since she's in front row when Cami Minor also is, they need that slide attack. And she's really efficient in that slide attack.
Francis 6 kills on 11 swings, no errors. She has the 10 blocks. Isert pushes it back to Foster. Kept alive by Rubin. Kurt into the Tar Heel block. Kurt again. Kept alive by Hampton. And Schaffmaster is stuffed by Francis.
Add another one to Sammy Francis. That's her 11th block. Watch her. Nice long arms pressing over the net. It's all about the press and the timing, pointing those palms down towards the floor.
It's been a career day for Sammy Francis with those 11 blocks. She's never had that many in a match. Kurt hit hands, and Stanford playing with a little more sense of urgency right now. Takes a 2-point lead.
Ipar Kurt had a lot of patience on her approach right there, waiting, seeing the set, and then rising up to it. She loves that deep, flat swing.
Foster. Ogilvy will set Kurt, and she's blocked. Waiting on it was Imani Foster.
Imani Foster has the ability to put this team on her back and lead them. She's doing that offensively and defensively. Watch how she turns her palms into the court, not allowing herself to get tooled, and putting that ball to the floor.
Foster set the North Carolina state record, 57 kills in a match in high school, and Zoe Barrett with the ace to tie the score again.
Service pressure was something that UNC lacked in those first 2 sets, and now that they're picking it up, they're getting Stanford in some trouble.
Third ace for the Heels, and then Kurt missed that attack. That is like a basketball player missing a dunk. From point blank range, she missed, and the Heels have the lead. Kurt. Barrett setting Thorpe, and Thorpe is blocked. Francis and Kurt were both there, and we're tied at 15.
Francis and Kurt putting up a wall. Kurt reading that that set was outside, so she got her feet there. Nice placement by her on where to set up that block all the way out there to the pin.
Francis up to 12 blocks now. We're tied for the 9th time this set. Carolina has to win this set to keep the match going. Barrett set was a little low to Engelbrecht. Point Stanford.
Good idea to run through the middle. Engelbrecht, pretty efficient, but you got to get that set a little higher so she can get on top of it and have a chance to snap.
Barrett setting Thorpe this time. Saved by Bevan. Kurt attacks to the corner, good.
It's that area of the court that she loves to swing that UNC has got to take care of. Either Maddie May has got to get deeper, or Sophie Hampton has to be back there holding a little deeper on defense to dig that up.
Timeout on the floor. It gives us a chance to remind you of the biggest match in the country in this upcoming week. Shaw and the Tar Heels have to just win this set. No one has led by more than 2 points this set, says the infamous Freddie Kiger, our statistician today, and I'm taking his word for it. It is the Tar Heels with the lead by 1. Schaffmaster unloads Ogilvy, good serve receive. And then Harvey attacks, Carolina keeps it alive. Kurt swings hard, Heels will not stop. Excellent pursuit by the Heels. Thorpe blocked, and finally Stanford can celebrate, but what an effort by the Tar Heel defense.
Wow, I mean, just when you think the play is over, UNC is never say die right now. Watch Schaffmaster all out. Got nice up by Matt.
And that is big. North Carolina gets that point. And the Tar Heels now with the lead 19-17.
That's a 2-point swing. That was a great challenge. I was incorrect. I'll take that. Great challenge, and now they're up by 2.
Schaffmaster serving. Get it right at Rubin. Tar Heels a little out of system, but they keep it alive. Kurt tools the block, and Stanford gets the side out.
I will say, Stanford's serve-receive line is handling Schaffmaster's jump topspin really well. They've had a couple nice 3 passes off of that jump top. And then Ipar Kurt going high off the hands of the block.
They really are. I mean, Ruben just stands in there and is not deterred at all. She's fearless. It's a massive serve coming at you. Stanford, the block, again gives them the point. Lizzie Andrew this time, the 6'5" freshman, gets the stuff.
Sophie Hampton, outside number 22, has yet to have a kill so far in this match on 12 attempts, hitting in the negative.
Stanford has tied the score now after Carolina had the 2-point lead. And there's that first kill, Madison, for Sophie Hampton.
There we go, she heard me. And you know, she's carrying a large load for this team because she's getting served almost every single ball. So she's focused on serve receive and getting a good pass for her team, and sometimes that makes it difficult to get a kill.
Miner calls everyone off, will set, and Harvey terminates from the left side. We are tied at 20. When you get to 20 points in volleyball, it's the equivalent of football's red zone. First to 25, win by 2. We'll take this set. If it's Stanford, the match is over. If it's Carolina, we are heading to a 4th. Hampton goes over the block, Miner saves it. Ruben, blocked. Ruben again, this time swings, and the block goes out of bounds for the Stanford point.
Ruben is a really smart attacker. It almost looked like in the middle of that play she recycled the ball. She purposefully put it into the block to allow her team to dig it up, get her set again, and then when she got a set that she liked, she ripped it and tooled the block. And that's Chelsea Thorpe just not being pressed and pointed with her palms into the court. It tags that left arm, that left hand of hers, and you want to have that facing area 6 in order to the culture at Stanford. And you can tell Coach Hambly has this team locked in. He demands excellence from them, and they demand it from themselves, and that creates a team that's consistently at the top every single year.
Stanford up 21-20 with the serve. Anna Pringle back to serve. Target Schaffmaster. Barrett with this low set. Sets up an overpass, and the Heels have tied the score.
UNC needed that. You don't want Stanford to get 2 points ahead in the red zone. Nice change of direction swing by Jackie Taylor, creating that overpass. Sophie Hampton taking care of it, shoving it down. That's what you're there to do.
Hampton, both her kills have come in this set. Isert into serve. Serve goes long. Stanford takes a 1-point lead. There have been a lot of service errors in this match. Both these teams really going for those serves. Ogilvy has been one of the most consistent servers of the day for Stanford. They need it now. Isert with the set on the left pin to Foster. And Foster with the kill to tie the score at 22.
That serve just a little too lollipoppy. UNC took care of it. If you give any team in the ACC an easy serve, they're going to get a free pass, run through their most efficient attackers, and that was a much-needed point for UNC.
Is that a technical term, lollipoppy?
No, I just made that up.
Francis hammers it out of the middle.
Sammy Francis, the most efficient attacker in the ACC, hitting .417 on the season. And I will add, only 28 attacking errors all season long coming into this match. I mean, those are incredible numbers.
Hasn't had one today. 12 swings, 7 kills. Stanford 2 points from victory. And Francis got into the net when she went up for that block. That will give North Carolina the point. So we are tied at 23. Let's see it again.
Can't make contact with the ball over the net on the other side. Sammy Francis doing just that, keeping North Carolina in it.
We'll have a match point or a set point after this. It will be match point Stanford off the service error by Taylor.
2 missed serves in the red zone. Red zone is when you get within 5 points of 25. 2 missed serves right there. If you're UNC, you need to side out right now.
Match point, Stanford. Schaffmaster swings into the corner. She could not have walked it over there any better. And the Tar Heels survived their first match point against them.
Holy clutch.
The challenge was whether the ball was in or out, but they can review the entire play. I mean, Carolina's just hoping these officials will see something.
Neither team hitting over 100 in this match. Stanford hitting, in this set, excuse me. Stanford hitting 0.71, UNC hitting 0.65. It's been back and forth. Both teams' defenses doing a good job at slowing the opposing down. Been a little too many service errors by UNC late in this red zone.
Yes, best set North Carolina has played. But when you're on the road in the ACC, especially here in Chapel Hill, getting out of here with a win is all that matters. Again, Stanford will stay here in Chapel Hill tonight, then they'll head to Atlanta tomorrow, where they'll play Georgia Tech Wednesday. And then they will host Louisville in Palo Alto on Saturday in what is another incredible matchup, final day of the regular season. That'll be after Louisville has faced Pitt on Wednesday. So there's still some things working in Stanford's favor. So call is confirmed. It is Stanford now with their second match point. And it'll be Taylor Bevan serving for the Cardinal.
I'd watch for this serve to be at Sophie Hampton. They've been targeting her all match.
Thorpe attacks, goes through the block. Minor with the set, Kurt into the block. Kurt again. Dug up by Hampton. Schaffmaster. There was a net violation. It was the Tar Heels, so the match is over. Stanford